Hello scrappers, and welcome to yet another scrap out, tear down, depopulate and sort out the bits video. And today's victim up on the autopsy table is an Intel Express 510T switch. Looks like it's a 24 port Ethernet switch. Never had one of these before. Looks like a fairly old piece of equipment, which is probably why my client was getting rid of it. You know, some equipment just has that look of being old about it. They don't really make them like this anymore. It's got this really heavy steel case, painted gray. It just has the look of something old. I'm always curious about how old the equipment I'm tearing apart is, so hopefully we'll find a date code somewhere in it. But we'll do a little walk around on it first and see what we got before I get into it. Looks like we have one module installed in slot A. Slot B is blank. Got the 24 Ethernet ports there. Each of them has 8 gold pins in it, so we're getting some gold already. See, we got some status lights. Looks like a push button there. Got the usual console port down there. Let's see, on this side, looks like we got a fan and a mounting bracket. I'll take those mounting brackets. They are heavy steel right angles. They'll come in handy for something. On this side, well, it looks like probably exhaust slits for the air and another steel mounting bracket. Go around the back. Nothing much to see here. Another fan inlet, it looks like. Power. Redundant power supply. Well, there's a port down there, probably behind that plate, where I guess a redundant power supply could plug in. Don't know if that's installed or not. We'll see. Let's look at the bottom. Okay. So here's the bottom. Got a sticker on it. Well, made in the USA with partial foreign content. Well, that tells you it's old right there, because we don't make anything in the USA anymore, it doesn't seem like. But I'm hoping I can find an actual date code on this thing somewhere and find out just how old it really is. That would be nice. Well, let me get the camera up on the tripod, and we will begin the disassembly and see what we can find. Okay, let's get this disassembly started. I was noting screws during the walk around. It looks like it's just got 3 screws holding the back on. Hopefully that's all there is. We'll see. I don't know if I've taken the mounting ears off or not to get the back off. We'll see. Maybe this will come apart a little easier than some of the stuff I've taken apart recently, which sometimes can be a bit of a challenge to get into. Well, will you look at that? Okay, that did come right off easy. That is heavy steel. That is a heavy plate of steel there. That's another thing that leads me to believe this is a pretty old unit. There's really, you know, modern stuff doesn't have steel this thick in it generally. There's something, I guess that's an inspector's mark, not a date code. Unless that's a date code, in which case it might be of October of 2000, I don't know. We'll see. See if we find anything else in here that may date it. Well, I see some good stuff right off. Down here on the motherboard I see a couple of gold corner BGAs, that's nice. A lot of flat packs, a lot of other IC chips. Looks like RAM chips across the top there, or the back. RAM chips have good gold in them. They're only about half installed. I guess this thing could have had a lot more RAM in it. Huh, okay. We take this module out here, have a look at it. Single-sided, well, other than there's got a lot of MLCCs on the back of it, but single-sided, got some nice gold fingers here. Some flat packs. Got one of these metal top BGAs. So yeah, there's some good stuff. Got a gold band oscillator here. And let's see, we got a couple connectors on the front and a couple optical ports. Now there's usually some gold inside the optical ports too. So it's hard to get to though, because they've got a metal shield over them all the time, but there's usually some gold in there. And a couple connectors which I'm sure have some gold in them. Alright. Not a bad little board. Nothing to write home about, not bad. Oh, and look, okay. Now that I've got that module out of there, I see, I saw 2 gold quarter BGAs before. Now I see 1, 2, 3 more. So there's at least 5 on this motherboard down here. Nice. Oh, and there's riser card. So we got some. I'll bet there's lots of gold fingers on that riser card too. Once I figure out how to get it out. This might take a little disassembly to get this thing apart. Looks like maybe there's some screws holding this chassis section in. Take them out. Well, oh, you know what? If I pull the riser card out, that might free it up. There we go. Yeah, so there's the riser card. Oh, I see. It's wire tied in to this piece of chassis. Let me cut the wire ties. That's why it's not coming apart. Yep, so there's riser card, lots of gold fingers just like I thought. 2 edge card connectors with gold connectors in, with the gold pins in it. So that's pretty good. We're getting some gold. More steel for the recycling. Now we've got pretty much unobstructed access to the motherboard. Oh, there's that secondary power connector back there. Let's see, we got a little front panel board over here too. Does that need to come out before the main board will come out? I don't know. I guess not. No. Well, it's only got like 1 screw holding in. Maybe I'll just pop it out and we'll have a look at it. Well, maybe it's not that simple. Got some plastic clips holding it in too, as well as that screw. And another plug down at the bottom. It plugs into the console port. I don't know. Oh, I know what I'll have to do. I'll have to take these nuts off the console port. Then it'll come out. That's the problem. Oh, those are tight. Usually you just loosen them and they can come off. Finger tight, but these are, goodness, I'm gonna have to get a nut driver. Be right back. There we go, that's the tool for the job. Wow, that is really tight. They must have put some, I don't see anything on the threads, but it feels like they put thread locker on them. They are super tight. They're in there. Okay, there's that little board. Reset button. Oh, it's a speed button. Looks like it's got a couple little tiny surface, 4 little surface mount LEDs and the console port on it. And I'm sure there'll be gold. Yeah, there's gold pins there in that connector. Mating gold pins on the motherboard down there. And I'm sure there'll be gold pins in each end of the ribbon cable too. It's always gold to gold. Whenever you got gold on one end of a connection, you got gold on the other end. I don't know if that's a rule, but it's been my experience. If there's gold on one end of a connection, there's gold on the other. What do we got for this power supply here? Is it something I can reuse for one of my projects? Output plus 5 volts, 5.1 volts at 17 amps. Wow, that's pretty good. Plus 12 volts at half an amp. That might be useful for something. Interesting. What's holding the power supply in? Looks like maybe just one screw. Let's see. Yeah, just one screw. And there's the power supply. Well, neat. I'll think about that. Whether I want to pack rat this just in case someday I need it, or whether I'll just scrap it. Let's see. Fan connector here. And the fan we got. 12 volt, 1.8 amp. 1.18 milliamps, sorry. 12 volt fan, boy, plastic, got a lot of those. That's really no use to me. Looks like we just got a few screws holding the motherboard in, and then that'll be it. That screw doesn't want to come off my screwdriver bit. And not that many screws here. That Cisco engineer who likes to use way too many screws obviously doesn't work at Intel either. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What's holding this in? Well, it looks like these nutserts for the little panel for the secondary power supply are holding the motherboard in. Looks like it's tied up against the front. So how did they get the motherboard in there? Oh. No, this is all welded. It doesn't come apart. Well, she's just going to be scrapped, so let me see if I can get it over it. There we go. Okay, now we still have another problem. Doesn't want to come out. You know, I thought this was going to come apart easy when I looked at it. Now it's like, how the heck did they get this board in there? Does the bottom come off? Does it? Oh, you know what? I think the front panel comes off. Maybe. I don't know. I see some screws. Maybe. Let's see. Because it's like the board is trapped inside the chassis. It's like, how the heck did they get it in there? Did they build the chassis around it? Does this come off? Huh. I don't know. Those screws got to be holding something. It was more than just that. Light pipes. So, how? Yeah, I've run across this before with pieces of equipment. I tore apart a big switch once, and I never did figure out how they got the back plane in it. It was one of those big switches that had a bunch of modules that plugged into the back plane in the back. And it's like, there was no way to get the back plane out. And I don't know how they got it in. You know, the case was all welded and riveted together. And I'm like, they must have put the back plane in before they finished assembling the case. Because there was just no other way. And right now, I'm not seeing any good way to get this board out. It's just too long to come out. And got this lip over here. You know what? Let me take these ears off the side. Maybe they're hiding some screws that will get the front panel off. Because of the front panel off, that'll probably... Ah, yes! There's a screw there. Yes, that's what's holding the front panel on. And then if I get the front panel off, I should be able to get the board out. I want to take these ears off anyway. Do it right now. I thought this was going to be an easy disassembly looking at this thing. I think we're figuring it out though. Okay. What's still holding it on? Is it this? Take this blank plate out. No, obviously it's not the blank plate. Oh, tricky, tricky. There's a bolt here with a flat head and a nut on the other side. Let's see if I can get this nut off. I think this is the last thing holding the front panel on. I think. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, there's some more steel for the recycling. You know what? Here's another inspected by, couple inspected by stickers and another, I'll bet that's another 2000 date code. What is it? January, February, March, April, May 2000. So the top said October 2000. This one says May 2000. So yeah, this thing must be 21 years old. No wonder it looks old and... Okay. I see a problem. There we are. Gotcha! Alright. Not double-sided. Every once in a while I get lucky, but not today. Okay. Alright, so more steel for the recycling. There's nothing I want here. Up. 4 of 00. April 2000. So yeah, I bet this thing's 21 years old. That would explain a lot. Okay, so got a nice little board here. Got some gold pins here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold corner BGAs. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 big flat packs on here. They'll have some gold in them. Got some flash RAM here. Got some... What is that? It has the look of dynamic RAM chips up here. I'd have to look up the number to be sure, but I'll bet that's what they are. These might be RAM down here too. Look at the number on that real quick. Maybe I'll recognize it. You know what? Those are not... Well, I know they might be RAM. I'll have to look them up. Those are by Cypress Semiconductor. I don't know exactly what they are, but there's 6 of them there. I'll have to look up the number. Got some glue logic. So we got our 2 card edge connectors that the riser card plugged into. Got our 24 Ethernet ports here. So yeah, all in all, not a bad little board. I'll get some nice chips off of it once I depopulate them in the kiln. Let's see about this board here. I think I'm going to have to take this plate off to get everything to depopulate in the kiln. For that, I'm going to need a little dinky little Phillips screwdriver, which I don't have out here with me, so I'll have to get one of those. Okay, let's see if I can get these screws out with my little jeweler's screwdriver. Ah, good, they're actually going to come out. I was afraid they'd be torqued in too much for this. Okay, more steel for the recycling. Now there's nothing holding these parts on. When I put this in the kiln and get the temperature up above the melting point of solder, all these surface mount parts should just fall right off. Before I do that though, I am going to harvest these fingers, because in the kiln the solder can melt and run across the fingers. And I don't want to contaminate the fingers with tin. The solder these days is almost entirely tin. Tin and gold don't mix. They don't get along well. Let's see. I suppose I might as well harvest these fingers too. I'll probably throw this board in the kiln just to get the edge card connectors to come off. If I have a bunch of fingers to harvest, I'll use my bandsaw. The fiberglass board will dull bandsaw blades, but I keep dull blades just for jobs like this, cutting a bunch of fingers off. But there's just a few fingers here, so I'm not going to worry about it. There we go. That's a lot of work for a little bit of gold, let me tell you. All right, and then there'll be gold inside these connectors too, which they'll fall off in the kiln. All right, so let's see, what do we got in here? Let me see if I can get into this optical port, see what's in there. Well, no, it just came right off the board. But oh, but look, I see gold in there. Wow. Okay. Looks like a gold-plated circuit board inside this optical port. It's a little different than other optical ports I've seen. All right, I figured there was gold in here somewhere. It's a matter of getting at it. See, how does this come apart? Obviously not made to come apart, it's spot welded together. Liable to be bloody if I'm not careful working with that stuff. Now this has the look of either pot metal or tough plastic. I guess it's plastic. There we are. Gold-plated circuit board, receiver and transmitter for the optical. Let me get underneath these shields and see what's in there. Just a little IC blob. Sometimes, well, that's coming apart. Oh, they were connected with a little piece of ribbon cable. Okay. Sometimes the transmitters and receivers have long gold leads on them, but not this time. But we got a gold-plated board with a couple of little IC blobs on it, and there might still be gold leads there. They're inside a barrel, but I can't really tell. I've started with stuff like this that has, you know, I know has some gold in it, but it's really hard to get to. You know, even the Eco Goldex gold stripper won't get into the nooks and crannies of this. So what I've started doing is I put together a pile of stuff like this that just has to be incinerated and crushed. And then I can get to the gold that's inside. Takes a lot to make it worthwhile, but you know, why throw away gold if you have a way to get at it? Alright, so got fingers over here. This stuff's going to go in the incinerate and crush pile. Let's see, this stuff needs to be depopulated from that board. I'll need to take the cable apart and get the gold pins out of it. Let's see, all the rest of this stuff's going in the kiln. Let's see, I don't see a date code on the power supply anywhere. Of course, probably a standard off-the-shelf power supply. Could have been sitting on a shelf in a warehouse for a long time before they used it. Don't see a date code on the fan anywhere. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on that card. Just a revision number. Nothing. Well, 99. So I'm thinking the rest of this has 2000 numbers on it. This could be 99. So that might have been in a warehouse for a while. You know, the date doesn't really matter. It's just curiosity on my part to see. You know, I kind of wonder why people throw certain things away. And it's obvious that after a certain age, they just, you know, there's no use for them anymore, no call for them. I mean, as usual, I looked this thing up before I started taking it apart. I don't even know if it worked or not, but I looked it up anyway. And there's some on eBay and there's some other places, and they're going really well. They're asking very little money for them, and they don't even seem to be selling at those prices. So it's like, okay, it's getting scrapped out. We'll see what's inside. I don't see any kind of date code on the main board, which is odd because that's where you'd think you'd find it. The part numbers, other numbers. I don't really see a date code, but I'll go with 2000 because that's the oldest code on the thing. So I figure it was probably built in 2000. Okay, so there's not going to get a huge haul of stuff, but we'll depopulate this stuff in the kiln. Now normally I would do that and sort out the parts and show you all the little bits and pieces I got from the piece of equipment in the end, but I'll tell you what, since I only got, you know, this much to put in the kiln, it's not really even worth firing it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I accumulate some more boards, and I'll do a batch of boards all together and sort out the parts. But I'll tell you what I want off of this. I want all of these gang Ethernet connectors up front. They'll come right off. Even though they're through hole, they will come off pretty easy. I want the edge card connectors, because, you know, the Ethernet connectors, the edge card connectors, and I want these edge card connectors too. They all have gold pins in them, so I want them. I want the connector here with the gold pins. I want the connector here with the gold pins. I want this connector with gold pins. That's pretty much all that's on that board. And then I want all the IC chips off of both of these boards. So that's what I'm going to get. Oh, and there's a couple connectors up here that, yeah, I can see it in the sunlight. I'm sure it won't show up on the camera, but as I move it around, I can see the gold flashing inside. So they've got gold inside. They've got some LEDs up here. LEDs all have a little bit of gold, and I am doing a video where I am processing a couple of pounds of LEDs just to see how much gold I get out of them. It's a couple of pounds of scrap LEDs. So watch for that video. I don't know if it'll be done by the time this video comes out or not. If so, I'll put a link to it in here. So that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get all the ICs, the edge card connectors, the Ethernet ports, these connectors, and you know, it's not, like I said, it's not a great haul. It's not a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not like the last piece of equipment. What was it? The Synoptics thing I tore apart, which was just loaded with great big IC chips. I mean, I've never taken apart anything that had such a high density of IC chips before. So this is not quite so nice, but you know what? Every little bit helps. You know, all these RAM chips are going to have gold. Flat packs are going to have gold. Gold corner BGAs are going to have good gold in them. You know, there's some gold plating here. Got some magnetics across the front, which are garbage, but otherwise it's mostly good stuff on the board. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Kind of short and sweet this time, since we're not going to do the sort out at the end. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting, educational, killed some time during COVID lockdown, whatever. Give the video a thumbs up if so. Give it a like. Subscribe to see future videos. Press the little bell icon to be notified. There will be future videos. There'll be more teardown, scrap out videos. There'll be more gold recovery videos. I got some retro computing videos coming out in the near future. So subscribe and keep watching. And thanks for watching. And keep it safe out there. I'll see you next time. Bye.